At the start of the movie, we meet Max, a guy whose life is completely falling apart. He spends his days on drugs and his nights tagging walls with graffiti. To understand how he ended up like this, we have to go back to his childhood. Max grew up in foster care and was adopted by a couple who also had other foster kids. Out of all of them, Max was closest to one boy. He wasn't his real brother, but they were inseparable like family. Then one day, everything changed. Max's brother had to leave for college in another city. Max was heartbroken. Before leaving, his brother promised, "I'll visit, and in 4 years we'll live together again. You'll never be alone." But just days after he left, Max saw his parents crying. His brother had taken his own life, leaving behind a note that said, "I can't do this anymore." That moment shattered Max's world. He was a talented painter, but his grief turned his art into an outlet for anger, and he started venting to graffiti on the streets. One night, while spray painting on a shop roof, the police caught him. Instead of jail, Max was sent to work at a foster home for the elderly. He had to clean, help the residents, and behave, or risk going straight to prison. When Max arrived, he noticed an old man peeking out of a window. The staff explained his duties and warned him never to go to the 4th floor, where serious patients were kept. It was the same floor where Max had seen the old man staring out. The next day, while picking up cleaning supplies, Max found a human-shaped statue. For fun, he poked out one of its eyes, then got back to work, knocking on each door before entering. One room didn't answer, so he went inside and found an elderly man and woman wearing masks, acting strangely. Feeling uneasy, he left immediately. Later, a resident named Norma asked him for a towel and struck up a conversation. Just then, another woman in the pool started bleeding heavily from her head. Her skin had torn after a stretching treatment. That night, while Max slept, he heard faint voices in his dreams and then a loud scream from the vent. Even creepier, his room door, closed when he went to bed, was now open. His first day had been awful. The next day, things seemed friendlier. The staff welcomed him, and he met the manager, Norma, and 2 other workers. He also met the doctor, who strangely complimented Max's eyes. That night, the same masked lady from before appeared in his room and lay down beside him. She stabbed him in the stomach while a man grabbed his neck. Until Max woke up, it had been a nightmare, but now he couldn't sleep at all. Restless, he wandered the halls and saw an elderly couple dancing. It was their anniversary. As he left, another scream echoed from the vent. Soon after, Norma invited him to her room, where he noticed a small cup he swore he'd seen before. Norma said it was made by a friend who'd lived there but died years ago. Later, he heard yet another scream and decided to investigate. The elevator wouldn't go to the 4th floor, so he took the stairs and picked the lock with ease. Inside, he found rows of sick, elderly people in wheelchairs, staring blankly at TVs. They looked drained, lifeless. The old man he'd seen before suddenly lunged at Max, screaming. The staff rushed in just in time. Otherwise, who knows what might have happened. The doctor warned Max that next time he wouldn't get off so easily. That night, Max told Norma about what he'd seen. But Norma told him flatly, "You can't help those people. Nobody can." Still, Max refused to back off. He snuck upstairs again, where the old man strangled him with his own intestines as the others tore open their stomachs and vomited. Thankfully, it was just another nightmare. The next day, Max overheard Norma argue with the doctor and a staff member. He urged her to leave the home immediately because something was very wrong. But before she could say more, someone came in and forced her to stop talking. Later, when Max went to see her again, a nurse told him Norma had been admitted for observation because she was unwell and would be kept overnight. Max barely made it through the night. The next morning, while cleaning outside, he looked up and saw the same old man trying to write something with his own blood after cutting his finger. But the old man couldn't finish writing. Before Max could make sense of what was happening, Norma suddenly fell over the railing and died a painful death right in front of him. The doctor later announced that Norma had taken her own life. In her room, they found a note saying she was going to meet her son, which meant she had planned to die. Max was devastated. Norma had been his only real friend in that place. But his nightmares didn't stop. That night, when he woke up, he noticed a UV light near his door. Curious, he turned it on and saw a glowing message on the wall. "Find the marked one." Shaken, Max started searching. He went to manager's room first and saw an X-shaped mark on his neck, proof that he was one of the marked ones. Soon Max noticed more and more people touching their necks, a sign they had the same mark too. He snuck into Norma's room to look for clues. Among her things, he found half of a painting she'd made, the small cup, and her diary. The last entry read, "Max needs to know how dangerous this place is. They come at night with surgical tools, needles, and dogs to replace us. Am I next, or is it the manager?" Max realized the manager might be in danger. He rushed to his room and found him pulling out his own teeth, slowly turning into one of the sick, lifeless people from the fourth floor. Max quickly called for help, and the doctor treated the manager in time. If Max hadn't shown up, it would have been too late. Now Max was determined to figure out the truth about the doctor. He dug around and discovered the doctor had been fired from a hospital for performing dangerous eye surgeries and brain-aging experiments. While reading about it, a series of pop-ups suddenly appeared on his computer. Weird software started downloading, and then a live stream began. A disfigured girl appeared on screen, trying to speak to him, but before she could say much, the connection cut out, and once again, screams echoed from upstairs. Determined to get answers, Max ordered a bunch of tiny hidden cameras and placed them all over the building so he could watch everything from his room. Some cameras even identified people who were likely in danger. He later got in touch with a girl from the live stream. She told him she was the one who had put the UV light in his room, and that she could see him, meaning his entire room was under surveillance. She didn't say much because her own life was at risk. All she whispered was, "Help me, help them, help me, help them." She also warned him Norma had been killed because she knew too much, and Max would be next. That was all she could say before disappearing. Later, while watching his camera feeds, Max saw the old man from the fourth floor tampering with one of the cameras and then leaving. That same night, Max spotted a man with a scar being led to the basement, where someone with a dog was already waiting. Max followed them downstairs, but he couldn't see clearly. All he could make out was the doctor performing some horrific surgery. Suddenly, the man with the dog saw Max, and he bolted back upstairs to his room. When he got there, the girl from the live stream was already waiting. This time she told him everything. The government was using this place to test experimental drugs. They started on animals and then moved on to people. These old people were the perfect test subjects. If anything went wrong, it didn't matter. They were old and no one would ask questions. She explained that there were many other homes like this across the country, all doing the same thing. She said, "My dad used to live here, but now he's locked up on the fourth floor. I want to free him and everyone else. I need proof, and only you, Max, can get it because you're already inside." She was about to leave, but as soon as the door opened, the same old man appeared and attacked her. Max jumped in to protect her, knocking the man out. A worker rushed in and told her, "That patient fell from the fourth floor. He's the one who hurt you. Don't worry, the doctor will check you right away." As soon as the worker left to get the doctor, Max escaped. When Max got to his parents' house, he discovered they'd adopted 2 new girls. His mom asked about his well-being, using the exact same phrase Norma used to say, "A heart knows a heart." This made Max wonder if his parents were tied to all of this. Later, his parents went to meet with a judge to help Max avoid a harsh sentence. While they were gone, Max searched the house but found nothing. Then the 2 girls approached him. They said they'd been keeping a secret for years and wanted to show him. They led him to a hidden room behind a cupboard. It looked like a ritual chamber. Inside, Max saw a miniature version of the same cup he had. Most shocking of all, there was a statue of a Roman goddess, plus an old photo album. In the album were pictures of the foster home residents, and shockingly, Max's parents were among them. The photos were from parties where everyone wore black, except for one child dressed in white at the center. Every photo was taken about 3 years apart, but the people looked exactly the same, with no signs of aging. The only thing that changed was a child in white. Those children all looked lifeless, as if their youth had been drained. Max realized a horrifying truth. The people in that foster home were part of a cult, a satanic group that worshipped Roman goddesses to stay young. Every few years, they sacrificed a child to keep their youth. Then came the biggest shock. Max's stepbrother hadn't killed himself. His mom, dad, and Vecchio had sacrificed him. His parents had been adopting children just to use their youth for themselves. The same fate was about to fall on the 2 new girls. Max decided, "I won't let this happen." He raced back to the home, straight to the 4th floor. There he finally met the old man and realized it was his brother. That day long ago, his brother hadn't tried to attack him. He'd been trying to save him. All the patients on the 4th floor were actually young children whose youth had been stolen. They'd been aged into broken, voiceless shells of themselves. That's why his brother had been trying to write in blood to warn him. But before Max could do anything, a worker caught him. When he woke up, he was sitting among the same people, now dressed in white. This meant it was his turn to go to the fourth floor. Then the final twist hit. Everything the woman from the live stream had told him was a lie. She was actually the doctor's wife. The government testing story was fake. There were no marked ones. And now Max finally understood how these people stayed young. They looked old, but they hadn't aged in years. One was 109, another 114, one 128, and another 193. Somehow, they stayed young-looking. To keep their youth, they needed a special liquid from children's eyes called nectar, which comes from behind the eye. This nectar was a source of youth, but it faded as the children grew older. That's why they drank it from young kids, to stay young themselves. Ever since Max came home, they had been taking nectar from his eyes every night. And he didn't even know it. That's why he kept waking up at night. The dreams he saw weren't dreams at all, but memories. They would slowly extract the nectar this way. But when they had enough, or if a child discovered their secret, they drained all the nectar at once, leaving the child lifeless and old. The drained children were left on the fourth floor to rot, and a new child would be brought in. Usually, they fed on the same child for years, since nectar constantly regenerated in young kids. The doctor had taken almost all the nectar from Max's eyes and sent him upstairs, planning to keep taking a little from him over time, just like everyone else. That's why Max's eyes kept bleeding. But Max's brother wouldn't let it happen. He broke a wire from his wheelchair and used it to destroy the eyes of every child present, collecting their nectar. Then he gave it all to Max. The nectar revived him, making him stronger than ever. A storm raged outside, and another storm brewed inside Max. When a worker came up, Max attacked her, stabbing her repeatedly until she was dead. Then he grabbed a tool and went on a rampage, killing everyone he encountered in horrific ways. His parents tried to escape, but they were caught in the chaos and died as well. After killing them all, Max extracted the nectar from everyone's eyes and used it to revive the people on the fourth floor. Then he escaped with his brother. In the end, the evil people were dead. Though they looked old, the victims were young inside again. With that, the film comes to a close.